A new MCP server looks useful because it gives the agent access to the system everyone needs. That is exactly why it deserves an audit before the first production workflow depends on it. This is lesson 34 in Claude Code, Production AI Agents. We are using an MCP server audit template to inspect tools, data access, permissions, logs, and ownership. Lesson 33 showed how managed settings enforce policy. Now we apply the same discipline to external capability, where every server expands what the agent can see or do. The audit is not bureaucracy. It is the moment where useful integration meets explicit boundaries, monitoring, and accountability before trust is granted. The core idea is this: every MCP server expands the agent boundary, so it needs explicit review for tools, data, permissions, logging, and ownership. The answer is only one part of the system. The path, controls, ownership, and recovery plan matter too. The visible artifact is the MCP Server Audit Scorecard. It has 5 parts: tool surface, data access, permission model, logging, owner. Those parts turn an abstract concern into a concrete review conversation. This part of the visual map matters because it shows the actual moving pieces: tool inventory, data boundary, permission check, log capture, owner review. If one of those pieces is invisible, the team will struggle to operate the workflow under pressure. Use this checklist before treating the workflow as ready: tool surface, data access, permission model, logging, owner. These are not decorative boxes. They are the operating questions that decide whether the agent can be trusted outside a demo. In practice, this example has 4 parts: unknown tool power, data leakage, privilege creep, silent action, unowned server. The point is to make the agent's work inspectable rather than asking everyone to trust a polished final answer. Score the design against this rubric: tool surface, data access, permission model, logging, owner. A weak score does not mean the idea is useless. It means the workflow needs stronger boundaries before it becomes production work. Day 2 is the real test for MCP Server Audit Template. A model version, tool version, policy update, or team workflow change enters the system. The team should be able to compare the new run with the previous run, inspect the evidence, and decide whether the difference is improvement, regression, or noise. Without that comparison path, the agent may change faster than the organization can understand. Use this implementation checklist before expanding scope: tool inventory, data boundary, permission check, log capture, owner review. Each item should produce a concrete artifact, not only a meeting note. If the artifact cannot be inspected later, it will not help during review, audit, or incident response. Block release when these risks appear: unknown tool power, data leakage, privilege creep, silent action, unowned server. A blocked release is useful information. It tells the team where the system needs stronger evidence, better calibration, narrower scope, or clearer ownership before it reaches production users. Before a leader approves wider rollout, answer 3 questions in plain language. What decision will this evidence support? Who owns the signal when it disagrees with human judgment? What happens if the signal is wrong during a real incident? These questions connect MCP Server Audit Template to accountability instead of turning it into another dashboard or checklist that nobody trusts when pressure rises. A useful mental model is supplier security review before connecting to the factory. Production work is not about trusting a perfect machine. It is about designing a system that can be inspected, corrected, and improved under pressure. Our worked example is an audit template for a file system, ticketing, or internal platform MCP server. The important pieces are tool inventory, data boundary, permission check, log capture. The agent can accelerate work, but the operating model must make behavior visible. The build sequence is simple. Define what can go wrong, define the signal, decide the release gate, assign ownership, store the evidence, review failures, improve the workflow, repeat, use the readiness rubric, tool surface, data access, permission model, logging, owner. If a team cannot point to each part, the release is relying on hope. Hope is not an operating model. The common mistake is installing an MCP server because it is useful without checking what power it gives the agent. It feels efficient because it avoids design, then becomes expensive when the agent drifts, fails, or creates a decision nobody can explain. Let us recap Lesson 34. For MCP server audit template, define the risk, capture evidence, connect the result to a release decision, and keep ownership clear. The lesson learned is this: every MCP server expands the agent boundary, so it needs explicit review for tools, data, permissions, logging, and ownership. A production agent earns trust when quality, risk, and history are visible. Subscribe for Claude Code, Production AI Agents. The companion book is linked in the description. In Lesson 35, we close the series with the shared language team's need for production agents.